What's up, Guffers? I'm James Reiner at Grown Up Fantasy Football, and today I'm giving you my way too early 2021 quarterback rankings for next season. I'm going to reflect on the 2020 season that some of these guys had and tell you where I think they may end up at the end of next year. Before we get started, remember to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter. Now let's get into those rankings. All right, to start off, at number 12, I have Tom Brady. He finished as a quarterback 8 in 4-point passing quarterback leagues. He had 337.92 fantasy points. I imagine the Bucs try and bring Brady back. Maybe they bring AB back too. I think a second year in their Arian system and getting some more time to build up some chemistry with these very, very talented wide receivers would be a very great thing for Tom Brady. I think this team could be even more explosive than they were this past year if they can get those things right. Now, with that being said, Tom Brady is getting older at another year. I mean, he's still not showing his age too badly yet, but could come in a year, so that's why I have him ranked all the way down at number 12. Number 11, I got Russell Wilson. He finished as a quarterback 6 this year, 359.78 fantasy points. I have him ranked so low because at 11 because he has hot streaks and he has cold streaks. He has these streaks where he's putting together these monster games, monster 30-point games, and then he has these streaks where he's not winning you fantasy games. So that's why I have him so low. He goes through this every year. Sometimes he starts off cold, finishes strong. This year it seems to be the opposite. So I think we need to see some more consistency before I can put him in my top 10. Number 10, I got Ryan Tannehill. He finished as a quarterback 7. He had 343.86 fantasy points. I think he's a very good quarterback. And this is a great offense. A.J. Brown's a great passing weapon to have for him. I think the only thing that limits his fantasy value is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can just take over games, and it's all Derrick Henry. He's the only one getting fantasy points. That being said, still, Ryan Tannehill has had some great fantasy games this year. I think he finishes at number 10 next year. Number 9, I got Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts finished as the quarterback 36. Obviously did not play except the last 4 or 5 weeks here. Weeks 14 through 16, he had 19.28, 37.82, and 18.58 fantasy points. That's pretty good for first couple of starts in the NFL, especially that 37.82 game. And I think Doug Peterson is a great coach, even though the Eagles did not have a great season. I think he's great at developing young quarterbacks. And he won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles at quarterback. So I think this will be great for Jalen. I think he has a good year next year. I assume they will not bring Wentz back and go with Jalen Hurts. And, Jalen has that rushing floor, those extra fantasy points he gets you every game, and that's huge for fantasy. Number 8, I got Lamar Jackson. He finished as a quarterback 10. He had 332.78 fantasy points. He did take a step back this year. I think it's a combo of the defenses figuring out how to defend him and not really having any receiving weapons on the team. He has Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown really has not had a good year this year. He kind of finished strong on the season, but it's been rough. Still, I think Ravens are a good team. I think Lamar Jackson's a very good player, and I think John Harbaugh's a very good coach. I could see them turning around next year and Lamar gets back to domination, but I think he finishes at 8 right now. Number 7, I got Kyler Murray. He finished as a quarterback 3, 378.74 fantasy points. Huge step forward this year for Murray. He was fantastic for fantasy. I have all the way faith in the world in Kyler being a very valuable fantasy asset. I am kind of worried about Kingsbury, though. I think he may be very similar to what we saw with Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson this year. The Cardinals may struggle to start the year, and that might limit the offense. Who knows? I see him kind of being like Deshaun Watson this year, where he starts off weak and then finishes strong. The Cardinals were a loaded team on offense this year. I think it's a team that should have made playoffs just based on their talent. I think they didn't because of poor coaching, so that kind of worries me. That's why don't have him in my top 3 like he finished this year. I think he falls out of that, but still very good for fantasy, so I have him at 7. Number 6, I have Justin Herbert. This guy finished as a quarterback 9, 332.84 points. He had an excellent rookie season, and he didn't even play the first couple of games and still finished at quarterback 9. And they got rid of Lynn. I think Lynn was actually kind of hurting that offense, kind of holding them back. I think Herbert only gets better next year and takes another step forward. Any offense he's in's got to be better than the one Lynn was putting out there. So I think Justin Herbert will be one of those guys you can draft kind of late next year and be a huge, huge fantasy winner. Number 5, I have Aaron Rodgers. He finished as a quarterback 2, 382.76 fantasy points. This is one of the best NFL seasons Rodgers has ever had. He'll probably win MVP. It's just hard to repeat, being number 2 each year, and I can't think of a reason he'll do bad next year. I just like the next 4 guys' ceiling a lot higher. I think their ceiling's a lot higher than what Rodgers' ceiling is. Still, you can't go wrong with him. He's been extremely consistent this year. I don't think there's any reason that won't continue next year, so I have him at number 5. Number 4, I have Deshaun Watson. He finished as the quarterback 5 with 369.32 fantasy points. He was definitely limited by Bill O'Brien and his poor offense in the beginning of the season. We saw once Bill O'Brien was fired, Deshaun turned it on. He was much, much better for fantasy. He's been playing lights out these past couple of weeks. I think a full year in a good offensive system, he could be easily the quarterback 1 of the season. Number 3, I have Dak Prescott. Dak got hurt early on, so he finished as a quarterback 30. But weeks 1 through 4, he had 17.64, 39.8, 27.48, and 37.28 fantasy game points in each of those games. Week 5 against the Giants is when he got down and went hurt. But, he was playing so good. May have been an MVP season if he didn't get hurt. They have so many good wide receivers. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb are absolute studs. Gallup is also very talented. He has such a great supporting cast. Zeke didn't have his best year, but Zeke was playing good when Dak was on the field. So I think their offense is loaded. I think McCarthy knows how to run a solid offense. I think the sky is the limit for Dak if he comes back and he's healthy next year. Number 2, I have Josh Allen. He finished as the quarterback 1 in fantasy this year with 395.56 fantasy points. He had an MVP caliber season. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't win it, this guy has to win it. He's so good. He's a very similar player to Mahomes. Big arm and he's mobile. He just doesn't have the fancy play calling that Mahomes does. The guy's just a great football player, and I do not see him slowing down next year. Very impressed with him. Number 1, I have Patrick Mahomes. He finished as a quarterback 4. He had 374.4 fantasy points on the season. I know it's a boring pick, but he's just the safest and most reliable option. He has a great coach, great scheme. The risk is just very, very low, but I think it's the right pick. I think it's the safest pick. I think his floor is just very, very high. There's not much that can go wrong here. He's a young, healthy quarterback, great coach, great system. It's the safest pick. Might not have the highest ceiling, but definitely the safest pick. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Let us know down in the comments section what your way too early quarterback 2021 rankings are. Let me know if you disagree or agree with my rankings. Is there someone I left out? Is there a rookie who may come into the league and surprise us all this year? Let us know down in the comments section. Remember to subscribe, grow up, and get guffed.